Last September, Texas's permitless carry law went into effect, and it's gone pretty much as you might expect. Notably, not as they said it would. They claimed that allowing everyone to carry guns without proper documentation would result in us all being safer. And if that makes sense to you, then I'm gonna need you to pay attention, because we're gonna reveal what actually has happened after that. In one high-profile case earlier this year, a guy named Tony Earls pulled out his handgun and opened fire, hoping to strike a man who had just robbed him and his wife at an A.T.M. in Houston. Instead, he struck Arlene Alvarez, a 9-year-old girl seated in a passing pickup, killing her. It's almost the exact case of when this sort of thing is supposed to make you safer. It's a dangerous world, why not have a gun? You can defend yourself and maybe kill a random 9-year-old nearby. A grand jury, by the way, declined to indict the man, agreeing with his lawyer that, quote, everything about that situation we believe and contend was justified under Texas law. Justified has never been stretched as much as it was in that sentence. Yes, it's justified under Texas law, but under no other law, system of ethics, common sense, or anything like that. This, by the way, has become very common. In the border town of Eagle Pass, drunken arguments have flared into shootings. In El Paso, revelers who legally bring their guns to parties have opened fire to stop fights. In and around Houston, prosecutors have received a growing stream of cases involving guns brandished or fired over important, crucial things like parking spots, bad driving, loud music, and love triangles. And so this is exactly what we should have expected. When you have a gun with you, situations that normally would just resolve, or maybe worst case scenario, end with somebody being punched in the face, suddenly become situations where your life can be on the line, the life of the person you're fighting with can be on the line, anyone nearbys life can be on the line. And the status quo in Texas, by the way, was already that at least 4,000 people were being killed by firearms every single year. And now it's way easier to get guns and carry guns around with you wherever you want.
So the shootout at the OK Corral was such a big event in the Wild Wild West because they had gotten guns into the middle of town and shot at each other. And I believe 2 people died. And we still know the shootout at the OK Corral. Those guys were amateurs. It's nothing like the violence we have here in America today. The Wild Wild West wouldn't make the local news. The violence was so small. The shootouts were, not the violence against Native Americans, African Americans, etc. The shootouts were tiny compared to what we have today. And in fact, in most of the towns back then, when you got to town, you had to turn over your guns to the sheriff because they're like, okay, I mean, this is America and we're in the Wild West here. You need your guns to protect yourself. But when you come into town, obviously you shouldn't have guns. That'll lead to terrible violence.
Yeah.
That was the Wild Wild West, okay? So you could look it up in history. I know these days the right wing, like, no, history sucks, let's ban it from all the schools. We don't want to teach it, science sucks, let's ban it. I don't know what you want to teach left, okay? But that's actual American history. But it's not just American history. You know the saying, armed to the teeth? Yeah, I always wondered about that. Armed to the teeth, what do your teeth have to do with it? No, it turns out the teeth is a location in Scotland. Scotland also had lots of violence, and they also made a law that you are not allowed to be armed within cities. Because they're like, okay, you're on the road, you gotta protect yourself, we get it. But inside a city, you'd have to be crazy to allow weapons, because people are gonna drink, people are gonna get into fights, and then everybody's gonna die, right? So you're allowed to be armed to the teeth, but not beyond the teeth, okay? Nowadays, no such thing exists. We just all grab our guns and shoot each other and people that are standing by ad nauseum, and let alone the massacres ad nauseum. And all of our politicians go, what? I don't see it. What's the big deal? Tens of thousands of Americans being murdered every year because of these guns. And we have way more guns than everyone else, and we have way more gun homicides than everyone else. This doesn't happen in any other developed country. Who cares? Did the check clear? This is all because of money in politics. They get paid by the NRA, they get paid by gun manufacturers. They literally profit off of our deaths.
You know, I believe in a higher power and I wear it on my hip. Hell yeah, brother, God bless America. Seriously, listen though. Like there are these people who have guns because they're obsessed with gun culture and it's very toxic and they're members of the right wing. And they believe having guns makes them cool. Like all they're doing with the guns is protecting their privilege in society. They're really scared at the idea that things could possibly change in our country, and these people are getting increasingly more aggressive. They're emboldened by the right-wing media that's pushing these narratives, which we've talked about a lot on the show today. But in response to that, there are people who are afraid of all of these people who are carrying their guns around, who clearly are very unstable, who are buying into these narratives that there are secret people in power controlling our country. They believe that the cancel culture war is taking away all of their freedoms because some people are gay and some people are transgender, and traditional values are being degraded and their country's being stolen by people coming over the southern border. All of these things have led to them to be incredibly unstable and on the brink of violence. And they want to carry guns around because they want to protect their idea of America. And that means other people in their community are expendable. We've seen so many times people so quick to take out a weapon because someone pisses them off just a little bit. Like people don't have good reasons to be pulling out guns, and now you have people wanting to get guns in response to that to protect themselves, and we're almost at a point where the proliferation of arms in America is so out of control, and it's very scary because when you have people showing up to Speaker Pelosi's house ready to attack her, we're on the brink of something that looks like a civil war. Like we've got to do something to address the proliferation of arms in the country and reverse this because people are not stable enough to be responsible with weapons.
Well, I'm gonna say one last thing about that. So look, guys, there's different situations where I understand why you want to get a weapon. I know hunters. Yes, of course, hunters need rifles. We get it, right? You live in a remote area in Montana, and you're worried, hey man, if somebody comes in, it'll take cops 25 minutes to get here. I get it, right? Now you got out of control crime, so you're worried about that, and you're worried everybody else has guns. That really sucks, and the gun manufacturers are thrilled. That's why they prevent any laws like federal background checks, because they want the criminals to have guns, so that you're scared and you buy a gun, right? But I still understand it, right? But when the right wing says, well, you need your Second Amendment rights to guard against government tyranny. No, decode that. What does that mean? That means you got to have a gun in case Tucker Carlson tells you the government is tyrannical, and then you shoot the people in the government.
Yep.
That's what it means. Now look, imagine if the left wing did that. And he said, you know what's government tyranny? The government coming telling you what you can do with your body if you're a woman. Oh, no, you were raped? I don't care. You're gonna have the rapist child, okay? I can't imagine anything more tyrannical than that. Imagine if the left wing was like, oh, they got rid of Roe, let's all get arms and make sure that if anybody tries to do government tyranny, use your Second Amendment rights. You know what would happen? The right wing's head would explode. They'd be like, how dare you? We control your body, and if we send our agents, you will do as you're told. Okay, do not dare cross government tyranny. But we get to shoot people, government officials. So maybe the postman comes by and says, I thought it was the FBI and their deep state. I murdered him, right? So look at this, 9-year-old girls getting killed because these yahoos think that they're tough guys. You're not tough guys, and you're not gonna defeat the United States government because Tucker Carlson got you riled up and you played some games in the woods. Okay, so our violence because of guns in this country is 100% out of control. And guys, one last thing about it. We live under corporate rule, so we're constantly told everything's okay. Just go back to sleep. Oh, well, you're not allowed to negotiate drug prices, so the drugs are too expensive and your family member died. It's okay, 50-50. Status quo is great. Everybody go back to sleep, okay? Oh, your employer is abusing the hell out of you. You're getting very low wages. It's okay. Oh, you can't afford anything? And you can't afford your medicines. You die. 45,000 people a year die because they don't have insurance in this country. No other developed country does it. It's okay. Go back to sleep. Right? Gun manufacturers are making money. We have insane, historic, never seen on the planet before gun violence here. Our kids are massacred on a daily basis. It's okay, 50-50. We can't tell. Don't talk about the money. Everybody back into the mines, back into the lines. Corporate rules. Gun manufacturers must make their money, let alone the wars that we start for defense contractors and oil companies. Oh, hundreds of thousands of Iraqis died. Innocent people died in Iraq. Everybody go back to sleep. Corporate rules. Defense contractors must make money. Smith & Wesson, gun companies all must make money. Everything's 50-50, nobody can tell. Status quo is great, everybody go back to sleep. I'm here to wake you up. There is no other country in the world that has anywhere near the gun violence we have. The rest of the world thinks we're lunatics, and they have an excellent point.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.